Hey everyone, welcome back to the Smash Property Podcast. Today's episode, we're going to talk through our goal setting framework for 2025 and beyond. Now, if you're a property investor, there's a good chance that you're going to have to set some goals for yourself. We're going to go through what we actually do to go out there and set our goals, how we do it, what we do to make things happen. So if you're thinking about getting into the property game in 2025, or maybe you want to expand your portfolio, this is going to be some good tips in here for you as regards to your goal setting plans. But before we get into it, my co-host Akira, how are you doing?
I'm good. I feel like today is going to be an interesting topic. We've had a lot of candid conversations and whiteboard sessions, so I feel like this type of episode I really get excited about because, yes, it's not 100% property focused. We're not talking about data or anything, but mindset stuff, I think I love it. Yeah. It's something that we resonate on when we have conversations very often. I think this is going to be a more free form kind of flow, which I love.
Free form, free flow. You said it pretty good. Like, you can have all the data in the world, but if you don't have the right mindset to execute on it, like, it's useless. Do you know what I mean? So
exactly.
I think for me, like, having a plan, having those goals, having that strategy really just allows you to kind of see the bigger picture, at least for me anyway, and then kind of walk towards those goals and just knock them down one by one.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like we are in the process of setting our 2025 goals and plans, and we sort of thought, hey, let's kind of just make a potty out of it and kind of go, okay, we'll share with the guys what our framework is. We're not going to go obviously into our specific goals and stuff like that.
I don't want to bore everyone.
I like to with goal setting, like, I like to tell you when I've done something.
Oh, God,
I don't like to tell
I know
you.
about that.
I don't like to tell you that I'm going to do it. I'll just come to you and say, hey, yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, like when you buy a car or something like that.
Something. I'll just, So it's not because we're secretive or whatever. It's just how I like to operate with, I'll tell you when it's done kind of thing.
Yeah.
So let me kind of just maybe start with the framework for the guys watching and go, well, yeah, sure, we're setting goals for 2025, but really 2025 is actually part of a bigger plan and a bigger picture. I've said it to you many times before, and you know this, like, I'm always a bigger picture kind of person. So this is really like part of a 5 to 10 year plan that we've got. And that's just like an ever evolving 5 to 10 year plan that we'll continue to have. And I think it's important to focus on that bigger picture, because if you're a property investor, you might, your goal might be to get to one property in 2025, but how does that form part of like a bigger life plan for you? Like, what does it look like in 5 years? Because you probably want to have more than one property in 5 years. So kind of just piecing that all together, I think, is a great place to start in terms of what we do and how we do it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, with what you're saying is essentially looking at the bigger picture and then reverse engineering everything, I guess, is ultimately
basically
the basis of this.
And like, just like writing it down, like, you mentioned, like, we love our whiteboard sessions, and maybe we should actually film some of the stuff so we can release it, because like we get some pretty good.
I feel like we're gifted with ideas sometimes, because sometimes there's a problem that I'm trying to work out, and I cannot for the life of me figure. My goal 3 years ago was to have 10 properties, and I'm like, oh God, that looks like a whole big old mountain to climb. But every time I focus on it, I try and find a solution for it. It just comes. And I'm like, is this from the universe? Who is this from? Not to be whimsical, but I think the more you focus on something, the closer the ideas and the actual essence of what you're trying to do comes to you. So it's super important not to push those things aside, because if there's a problem, you can't quite figure out the solution just yet. It's important to stick to it and keep going.
It's a good point, because like a lot of times people will just be like, oh, put in the too hard basket, like, but there's a lot of challenges that we've put on the whiteboard, and maybe we haven't had the full solution in that one session, but like, maybe we'll go away, maybe we'll speak with our accountant or our broker, and be like, oh, wow, okay, that actually all now pieces together. It makes sense.
Like a little puzzle.
So I really think there's a lot of value in writing stuff down, putting it on paper, putting it on a whiteboard, putting it on the computer, whatever. So you kind of just downloading your thoughts out there, you free up that mental capacity to kind of think through the
The
problem.
hard drive.
Free up the hard drive. So really mapping things out, writing them down is critical. So you've got like the bigger picture, what you want to do, and then you just start breaking it down, literally like a map almost.
That's right.
Like a roadmap, like how to get to where you want to go.
Yeah, and I would like to share, like, with our partnership, we're very fortunate in the sense of the like-mindedness in problem solving, road mapping things, working it out. You know, you have an idea, I have an idea, and then it comes together and pieces together really nicely because, you know, it can be very lonely when you have a goal and you're trying to get to it. You don't have all the answers. You don't have like-minded people around you. It could be lonely, for lack of a better word. So finding people who finding people who resonate, I think, is important to get you closer and closer. And also, I would say, just believing in yourself and your actual goal.
Yeah, I got to say, like, if it wasn't, like, if we didn't have, like, I would rather be alone, like, by myself than have a partner that's not on board with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mean to sound like a downer, but I'm like, why would you carry a dead? I see it as a dead weight. Like, if you're trying to do something to better your position in life, and you got someone who's like, well, he's just doing his property thing over there.
It's a big deal. Like, I mean, I think,
fuck that.
Yeah.
Bye.
But I do think it is a big deal, you know, with goal setting and having people who are like-minded. Maybe they don't understand the whole crux of what you're trying to do, but I think just in general, having support. Like, if you're going to be working over hours, if you're going to be, you know, going to work and then after work, like, trying to figure stuff out and taking time aside to research, if your partner or your friends can't see that you're trying to better yourself, that can, like, be a burden, I think.
Time to cut some people loose if you got some people like that in your life.
Yeah. So sorry, not to derail, but I guess what I'm trying to say in terms of goal setting, it is important who you surround yourself with as well when you're trying to get better and do better for yourself.
Yeah, 100%. So for us, we got, you know, the big sort of 5 to 10 year plan. We break that down into a yearly plan. We kind of map it out, write it down. You and I will talk through it a few times, maybe a couple of times. Maybe we'll come back to it, do another map session to kind of see how it all works.
Yeah.
Like I said, because you might not solve the thing in the one sitting. You know, it might take a couple of days, couple of weeks for you to kind of have that light bulb moment to go, oh, that's how we're going to make that happen.
100%.
So kind of sit on it, like you said, marinate on it, get it all over you.
And also, like, the 10-year goals that we do have, that has come together in a couple of years. Like, it hasn't been like, oh, I know the answer straight away. That's taken years to kind of map out and figure out how we can get there.
there was at a point in time when we were mapping out how to get to 10 properties, and like you said, it did seem like, are we like kind of just being a bit unrealistic here? And now that's all kind of, you know, come to fruition, which has been great. So
exactly,
I think it's important to, like, once you know what you're trying to aim for, don't just keep it in your head. Like we said, map out the plan and the journey, but write the specific goal down. And I like to do this like towards, you know, like this time of the year is once I've got, okay, I've locked in what I want to do for 2025 or whatever year it is. Write it down, and to write it down somewhere special. Like I've got a nice journal, that looks really cool and been using for a while, and I like to just firm it up, put it in that journal, and then it's, for me, and like mentally, it's kind of locked in. Like that's it. Yeah, the goals are set now, buddy. You've got to get them.
Yeah.
And so I think
you're very
it's a lot of
accountable.
value in that. Yeah.
And you know what's really special as well when you read back on some of those entries from years ago, and you're like, oh shit, I did that. I said I was going to do it, and I did it. Yeah. So it can feel very rewarding and special when, you know, you have an idea, you focus on it, and you do it. I feel like that's the point in life. Like, it's one of those things where bettering yourself is so valuable.
It is, and obviously it doesn't come easy. And like, you know, it's very easy to get caught up in the day-to-day swing of things, you know, in your job with your friends and your family and whatever, and just living your life. But you've really got to stay on top of things. Like, you know, a lot of people get all charged up over the Christmas, New Year break, and, you know, January comes and they want to hit the ground running, and they might get a bit of headway. They might get somewhere, But then sort of February, March comes around, things have got a little bit harder. Work's become more of a pain in the ass than what it was. You're kind of like, I'll get to it. I'll do it. And before you know it, middle of the year comes, end of the year comes, and you haven't done it.
And the momentum dies towards the end of the year as well. Like people just feel tired, they're fatigued, they're over it.
Yeah.
So having like I say this in a few podcasts, but having a North Star, having like an overall objective of what you're trying to achieve is important. So like the mundane things like going to work, doing the clothes, doing the laundry, doing the cooking, whatever it is, like obviously your 9-to-5 job as well, it makes it so much easier and worthwhile to do because it's like, okay, I know why I'm doing this. There's a reason for it. And there's a bit of value to it.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess the easiest way to kind of explain, it's like having a holiday booked in. To me, that's the same way I see it, like achieving a goal.
Yeah.
It means like when I have that holiday planned, I have something to look forward to. I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to that feeling of achieving it.
Makes the grind a little bit easier to bear sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly what I'm
sure.
trying to say.
And I think it's obviously, like we've said, we've got the big goal of 5-10 years, map it out, work it out until you actually work out the right plan for yourself. Write it once you've got your goal, write it down, lock it in somewhere. You got to obviously stay on top of things, but one of the things I like to look at my life is like it's your life, your business. And in a few ways I mean that, like it's no one else's business but yours. Like, so whatever your goals and everything you want to achieve, like don't feel shy about having big dreams and having big goals. I mean, I was talking to someone in the last week, one of our clients, and she was afraid to think big about maybe having a couple of properties.
Yeah.
And I remember after I spoke to her, she's like, well, now that I've spoken to you, like, yeah, I am going to fucking dream that big and think that big. I'm like, fucking oath you should. Like, so don't feel shy, even though you might not be telling the world about it, but even in yourself, you might be like, I don't know if I should be doing that. I don't know if I can do that, but you really got to think of it. It's your life, your business, and keep it your business, number one. But I think number two, run it like a business. And it doesn't mean to say you're not going to have fun. Obviously, you're going to have fun along the way, and we'll share our sort of views on that in a second. But if you're running it like a business is there to be profitable. A business is there to grow. It's going to be better than what it was last year. So kind of have that mindset when you're approaching your own life and your lifestyle.
I like that. Treat your life like a business.
Yeah.
It's
your
really
life, your
one.
business. Yeah.
And the more you feed it, the more you pour into it, the better it will be.
Yeah. Well, the more good shit you pour into it,
Yeah,
you
okay.
can pour a lot of garbage into it. Mainstream media. And those things there. So, your life, your business.
Exactly. And with that in mind, like, you talked about writing down the big goal. I think what we do, and it's this, I would say is very valuable to share, is we do stand-ups every morning, go through tasks that we need to tick off and go through every single day, weekend, not weekend, holiday, no holiday.
Yep.
Why do we do that, do you reckon?
We're a bit weird.
Okay.
We are a bit weird. People who watch me be like, you do stand-ups? Like, you have morning meetings for, like, everything? Like, you guys are retard. No. I can't say that R word. Anyhow, moving along. No, it is weird. Like, I'm going to be straight. Like, it is, people will watch this and be like, mate, you guys do morning meetings? That's weird. But the reason we do that is because we've got a lot going on. Like, we're running a business full time. We're running a property portfolio. We're obviously trying to enjoy life and live life as well. You can't do all of those things, at least in my view and the way that I like to operate, just like willy-nilly off the cuff, fix that, do this, because you're constantly going to be on the back foot. I like to be proactive with stuff, whether it's in the personal life or business or whatever, or property, so that, my task list today doesn't filter into tomorrow and make tomorrow even harder.
Yeah. It's so funny. And exactly what you said. My parents owned a business when I was a kid, and plastered on the wall on the big sign every day after school, I used to go to the business and help them out. Never leave for tomorrow what you can do today. That is imprinted in my brain. Dishes, whatever it is, if I have that little bit of extra energy to do it today, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Because like you're saying, if you can get stuff done, it enables you to free up the space, the hard drive in your mind, the clutter. So those alikeness kind of mindsets enable us to push forward with getting to that bigger goal. And having task lists, chipping away at it, it's so important. You know, also to that, like I used to be in construction industry building these multi-million-dollar beautiful luxury homes, and they were like on the side of a cliff sometimes, and I'm like, how the hell are we going to do this? It's impossible. One of the project managers I worked with really taught me it's about starting small, looking at the foundation, looking at everything step by step, piece by piece, and then it'll all come together. And if you're able to do that and not get overwhelmed, you kick towards that goal very quickly.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's all about the foundation. We always say it's about the foundational property portfolio. If you're looking to get into the property game, really critical.
And I think lastly, the appreciation aspect we should talk about too.
Yeah, well, I there's a couple of things I want to talk to. So yeah, the gratitude and appreciation, really underrated. I think you and I have been practicing that for a very long time. So it's kind of almost ingrained into us. And we also, I think, recognize where we started, like our starting position in life, where our families were, before we were even born. It wasn't born into privilege. Do you know what I mean? Like we've worked fucking hard to get where we are. And I think one of the things that we've been great at, never losing sight of where we have been to fully appreciate where we are.
That's right.
So I like to, every day, every week, whenever it sort of comes to me, is just appreciate what we already have. Because it is a great life that we live.
Yeah.
Even though we do want to strive for more, we do want to do better things, but that's just a part of that growth journey. So constantly saying thanks to the universe, to you, God, whatever it might be, just appreciating, like, thank you for like blessing me, and thank you for putting me in this position to do the things that I want to do. It just feels good too.
That was really beautiful. That's kind of touching.
It just feels good. To me anyway, it feels good just saying thanks. Like, wow, look what we have. We've got a roof over our head, for God's sake. Like, it's nice.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important. An important part of the journey is to give that thanks, give that gratitude and that appreciation. And to whatever it might be, you might have a God that you do that to. You might just be the universe that you do that to. It could just be just saying thanks out loud, like whatever that might be. But I think it's important.
100%. You made me a little teary just hearing that.
I'm sorry.
But I cannot agree with you more. It's recognizing the beauty in your life. And I think the beautiful thing in terms of goal setting and having someone to do it with is having that friend along in your journey, having that lightheartedness and that playfulness. When you're grateful, it allows you not to be stressed and overcome by this feeling of anxiousness. You're allowed to have fun with it. I mean, the goofy, dorky things that we are able to do because we recognize that, we have a lot, I guess, bottom line. So it's being able to have fun along the way too.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not just about the end goal.
No, for sure. And I think it's important to, people are going to watch this and be like, oh, you guys sound so fucking boring. Like, you run your life like a business. Oh, look at you. Yeah, probably. But I think I was thinking about this earlier, is that, like, for me personally, I've lived, man, like I think I was telling you about this last night. Like, I'm on this side of the spectrum now where I run my life like very efficiently, treat it like a business, really goal orientated, that sort of thing. But for a very long period of time, I was at the other end where I was out partying. I was doing all sorts of dumb shit, like all of the time. Yeah. So now that stuff, like, I don't value that anymore. There's nothing wrong with it. I just don't value it for me because I've been there, done that. So for me now, it's like, all right, well, I've kind of been way on that other end of the spectrum. Now let me pull it back over here, and then maybe by the time I get a bit older, I'll sort of be a little bit more balanced out as a human. But where I was going with that is, like we don't just sit there all day, every day, just work. Like we do splurge and we do enjoy ourselves from time to time. But when we do it well, we do it big, which I think is important too. If you're setting these goals and you're achieving things, like you've got to go out there and like reward yourself for the effort that you put in.
100%.
Even just little things, going out to a dinner because you got you approved, or you got you settled on a property or whatever it might be. But it's celebrating and enjoying those little moments is 100%.
And, you know, we had a beautiful conversation with a family member who's blessed us with some wisdom and really made me think, you know, splurging, enjoying yourself, it doesn't have to cost you money. I think a lot of people forget that. He was saying essentially, you know, their life, they didn't have very much, but all they wanted was to go to the beach, enjoy the sun, be together.
Yep.
And I think in essence, like if you have those moments, those times to, you know, calibrate and be grateful, it's going to put you ahead. And not everything, just because things are expensive doesn't mean it's good.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to be in the mindset to enjoy things.
Yeah. And I think, you said that and I was like, how cool. We were at the beach the other day, like
Midweek,
didn't cost us a cent. It
got
was
a beautiful
just like
tan.
sitting out in the water, like running through the waves and that sort of thing. So super cool. But what I wanted to say was you mentioned about like things not having to be expensive and things like that. I think it's important because I think some people tend to fall into a trap of, I'm not going to get that nice thing because of what other people might think of me. And so I think there's kind of two people where they might want the nice thing because of what they think other people will think of them. So, you know, I want the nice car because I want to drive it, and then I want people to see me in the nice car so they can think whatever they're thinking, right? But there's also other people that don't want to do that because they don't want to have people thinking that, oh, they're high and mighty and all this sort of thing. Yeah. I think at the end of the day, if you like nice things, like enjoy nice things. You don't have to jam it in other people's faces and whatever. But if you're enjoying it for yourself and you're truly in the moments when you are by yourself, you really love that thing, whatever it is, a handbag, a car, a nice holiday, whatever, like enjoy it. Don't feel like shy because you don't want to, you don't want to be seen flashy. I'm probably on that side where like, I like nice shit, don't get me wrong, but I also know that the way other people will see it is like, oh, he's just fucking showing off. Like, look at this dickhead.
Yeah. And people are going to think that is going to happen. You know, for me, I think with that kind of thing, it's an interesting one because I love beautiful things, creative things. You know, if someone puts thought into designing something, making something, it's art to me. I'm like, you got to appreciate that kind of thing. So obviously when things have value, you know, people associate it with wealth and money and stuff like that. But I think it's also remembering there's nothing wrong to appreciate beautiful things. Yeah. And that's part of life. There's nothing wrong with it.
It's part of life. So I think we've kind of woven a few things in here. Maybe not digress, but we've got think big, or when I say think, big blocks. Definitely think big, but think in terms of a longer timeline than just next year or the year after, but maybe a 5 to 10 year block. Mm-hmm. Write down and map out how you want your life to look, whether it's with you or you and your partner, whatever, you and your family. Map that out, write that down, look at where you are right now and where you want to go. And then, like I said, put that map together, put it down somewhere on a bit of paper or a whiteboard or computer, whatever. And when you've got those specific goals locked in, whether it's, a goal that you want to achieve next year, a goal that you want to achieve in the next 5 years, write that bad boy down and lock it in, like firm it up. Write that letter to the universe to kind of go, hey, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm doing. You don't need to advertise it to the whole world, but definitely make sure that you know what exactly that is. And ideally, have it somewhere that you're going to see it on a regular daily basis, ideally, so that it's constantly fresh in your mind. You're constantly there. You don't forget about it. Come March next year, it's there. Marinate on the idea. Talk about it with your partner if you're doing it with your partner. Lock it in, and make it happen. Like, you're going to have to do stuff to make it happen.
Yeah, you can't just leave it with the universe.
Don't sit on it. Don't sit there wishing, hoping, waiting. Like, you're going to have to do, obviously, take the action and make it work.
Make your tasks list.
And then when you do start to chip off little goals and little things, reward yourself, you know, accordingly to what it is you've just achieved, whether it's a nice dinner, whether it's a nice car, whatever it is, a nice holiday, or just some time off. Maybe take a day, a week, 2 weeks, whatever, relax.
Sit in it.
But I think that is a good framework and something that we've used now for a good couple of years, or many years now, actually, in like chipping away at certain things. And you'll be surprised how quick things can happen. If you're putting in the effort and you're taking the action, how quickly things can happen for you.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's an art form, like I said at the start. Decision making and goal setting, it's a skill set. So
Yeah.
I love the fact that, you know, you have to actually think about how you do it and why you do it. But it's one of those things when you understand how it works, you really do feel like nothing's impossible.
Definitely. And I might just throw out there a piece of literature that's been really, what a dickhead, a book that's been, it's been great. I wanted to sound really smart, but I'm clearly not. The book Ask and It's Given, if you haven't read that,
that's a great one.
And you're interested in manifestation and you're interested in, you know, bettering your life and just kind of tapping into kind of, you know, your own, your true person, give that book a go. Ask and It's Given. It's great.
My share, I can't remember the name. Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill.
Yeah.
That's a good one too.
Yeah.
It's all about
Classic.
writing in that goal, locking it in,
Yep.
and going towards it.
And be grateful for what you currently have. You know, give thanks to where you've been. And yeah, just when you get somewhere in life, like never forget kind of who you were from the beginning. Always be that person. And just don't be a dickhead at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's some
not too hard.
pretty good advice.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I enjoyed talking with you about this topic.
I had fun. I hope the listeners and the viewers had fun. Obviously not directly property related, but can actually help you get to that property goals that you're looking for. As always, thank you so much for the support. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we've got tons of property content coming out every single week or day almost, as well as give us a follow on whatever social platform. Instagram's probably the better one for us at the moment, right?
Yeah, Spotify, Instagram,
Spotify,
Facebook,
Instagram,
YouTube.
Facebook, yeah, you get it. You know what to do. And until next week, we'll catch you soon.
Thanks
Thanks so much for watching.
Ta.